This is part one of a series of videos where I'm going to show you the basics of recording and mixing drums. I'm going to talk about mics, audio interfaces, mic placement, recording into a DAW, and mixing drums, and I'll walk through everything step by step. For this video, I'm walking through all the gear you need to record drums at home. There's links to everything I talk about in the description, as well as timestamps for each section. The first thing we need is a room to record in. Bigger rooms and rooms with acoustic treatment are generally better, but you gotta work with what you got. For this series, I'm just going to be recording in my garage, which is probably something similar to what most of you guys are going to be doing. Obviously you need a drum kit, but I just want to mention that the source sound of the drums is arguably the most crucial part in getting a good final recording. You don't have to have a fancy kit, but changing the heads and tuning the drums well will make a big difference. For kick, anything basic like this short boom will work well. For snare, I like the Samson MK10 boom stand. It's a medium height boom, which is perfect for snares. For toms, I just use the clamps that come with the mics, which a lot of them do. If your tom mics don't have clamps, the Samson MK10 is also a good option. For overheads, any tall boom stand will work. Amazon Basics makes a cheap one that does the job well, and it's only 20 bucks. Next, let's talk about mics. You're able to mic a drum set with just a few mics, but for this, we're going to close mic all the individual drum shells and have two overheads to capture the overall sound of the kit. First, we have the kick mic. I use an Audix D6, but the Sennheiser E602 and the Shure Beta 52A are also great options. The Audix D6 is great for rock and metal, but the other two mics are better all-around options. There are more budget options, but I try and avoid those for the kick mic. For snare, the Shure SM57 and the Audix i5 are easy recommendations, and they're both around $100. I'd start with one of those mics, and I wouldn't go with anything cheaper. For toms, the Sennheiser E604s, the Audix D2s and D4s, and the Shure PGA56 are all great options. I use the Sennheiser E604s the most, and I love how easy they are because of the built-in clamp. These mics are around $100 per mic, but if you're on a tight budget, you can definitely go with something cheaper for the tom mics. For overheads, I use small diaphragm condensers. I recommend the AKG P170s. That's what I use, and they're under $100 per mic. There's a lot of expensive options out there for overheads, but for home recording, an inexpensive option will still do the job well. XLRs are the standard cable that goes from your mic to your audio interface, which I'll talk about next. I recommend 25-foot cables, which gives you plenty of length to get from all your mics to your audio interface, even if it's on the other side of the room. I bought my mic cables from Amazon from a company called GLS Audio. They make reliable cables, and they sell a 10-pack of 25-foot XLRs for $9 a cable, which is a great deal. For those of you who don't know, the audio interface is what takes the signal from the mic via XLR and turns that into the digital audio signal that goes into your computer via USB. Many audio interfaces have 1, 2, 4, or 8 microphone inputs, and for recording drums like what we're doing, we need one with 8 microphone inputs. These are going to run about $500 retail for anything decent with 8 inputs. So if you have a tight budget, I recommend saving up to get an audio interface first and then building your mic collection from there, starting with the overheads and kick mic. Focusrite and PreSonus both make good 8-channel interfaces, and the Focusrite Scarlett 18i20 is an especially popular option. Buying an older used interface is what I did at first, and the Focusrite Sapphire Pro series and the PreSonus Audio Box series are both good ones to look for. Today, I'm using my Behringer X32 rack as an interface, but if you're just starting out, you don't need something like this. Nearly any modern computer will work for what we're doing, so don't worry too much about computer specs. A lot of people recommend certain DAWs over others, and while there are some differences, I recommend just using whatever you're most comfortable. Whatever you're used to. I use Pro Tools, and I've been using it for years, so it's just really easy for me, but it's not the most user-friendly. Logic Pro 10 is a great option if you're on a Mac, and PreSonus's Studio One is a great option for Mac and PC. Reaper is a great budget option, but it's not the most user-friendly. If you're not familiar with any of these, check out some of the trials to test them out. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend getting headphones first instead of studio monitors. Studio monitors require your room to be acoustically treated to be accurate, and they're not ideal for small rooms like bedrooms. Headphones, on the other hand, can just plug straight into your interface or your computer directly and have a more consistent and accurate sound for less money than studio monitors. I personally use the Audio Technica ATH M50X, which is a really popular option, and they work great. But if you don't want these, I'd look more in the $75 to $200 range, like the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro and the Shure SRH 840s. That's it for gear. On the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up your audio interface with your DAW to get recording, so hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss it. Thanks.